Hello dear students, this is Business Research Methods and Project Work tutorial. The topic of this tutorial is Problem Identification and Definition. Well, in my earlier tutorial, you have already learned the research process. You come to know the various steps in the research process. There, you learn that the very first step in a research process is problem identification or formulation of the research problem. In this tutorial, you are going to learn the process of problem identification and learn the problem definition. Problem identification or formulation of the research problem begins the research process. The research problem serves as the foundation of a research study. If it is well identified and clearly and specifically defined, the researcher can expect a very good study to follow. A research problem may take a number of forms, from the very simple to the very complex one. The way problem is defined determines the other steps in the research process. There may be various sources of a research problem. Most researches in humanities and social sciences revolves around 4 P's: people, problems, programs, and phenomena. The emphasis on a particular P may vary from study to study, but generally in practice, most research studies are based upon at least a combination of 2 P's. Selecting a group of individuals or a community is people. To examine the existence of certain issues or problems relating to their lives, to ascertain their attitude towards an issue is called problem. To establish the existence of a regularity is called phenomena, or to evaluate the effectiveness of an intervention is program. The researcher focus may be the study of an issue. For example, migration, unemployment, child labor. So here the problem may be a very simple one, just to have a descriptive study. So what is the status of child labor at present in the country, or the status of unemployment, what are the various types of unemployment, what is the percentage of unemployed people in various categories or various types of employment, just a description of those. So here the problem is very simple one. The problem may be an association or a phenomena. For example, the relationship between unemployment and street crime. Then relationship of smoking and cancer. For this, study is done on the basis of information collected from individuals, groups, communities, and organizations. The two aspects in every research study are people, who are going to be the study population, and the other 3 P's. Those are program, phenomena, problem. This program, phenomena, or problem furnish the subject area and the people, that is the study population. The concept of 4 P's is applicable to both quantitative and qualitative research, though their execution is different. For example, the researcher can measure the effectiveness of a program in the field of health, education, or a problem can be looked from a health, business, or welfare perspective. The problems can be studied from academic perspective or professional perspective. So academic perspective, especially the people who are associated with academic institution, and professional perspective, the meaning is that the problem or whatever the study topic that is especially related to the professional field or the practical problems. So those studies are conducted with the aim of finding solution to the real problem. But in case of academic research, the researcher conduct the researches for learning research process or for achieving some academic objectives. As a researcher from academic field, there are many issues that can be studied. For example, student satisfaction with a teacher, attributes of a good teacher, the impact of the home environment on the educational achievements of students. Let's discuss the various steps in problem identification or problem formulation. The process of formulating a research problem consists of a number of steps. Step 1. Identify a broad field or subject area of interest. Step 2. Dissect the broad areas into sub-areas. Step 3. Select what is most interest to you. Step 4. Raise research questions. Step 5. Formulate objectives. Step 6. Assess the objectives. And step 7. Double check. Let's discuss these steps in details with an example. So here you see in the example, the topic or the broad area chosen or identified is online teaching and learning. So this is step 1, that is identification of the broad area. Now this broad area need to be dissected or that need to be separated, or the various aspects of that particular area need to find out. So that is step 2, that is dissecting the broad area. So here in the example you have seen the various sub areas are profile of people who are conducting online teaching and learning. So that can be a sub area where the study can be proceeded. Then factors leading to online teaching and learning. Next, the process of online teaching and learning. Then the effect of online teaching and learning on conventional mode of teaching and learning. Then teachers' attitude towards online teaching. Then students' attitude towards online teaching and learning. Then effectiveness of online teaching. In step 3, the researcher need to select a sub area which is most interest to the researcher. So here in the example, profile of people who are conducting online teaching and learning, this sub area is selected for the study. In step 4, the researcher need to raise research questions. Research questions means those questions for which the researcher is going to find the answer. The research questions are, in the present study, what are the various alternatives available in online mode of teaching? What is the age mix of the people conducting online teaching? What is the age mix of the people adopting online mode of learning? Whether they are affiliated to any organization or carrying it independently? What is the share of people conducting online teaching? After raising the questions, the researcher need to formulate objectives. So that is step 5. Here the objectives set are to find out the demographic characteristics of the people adopting online mode of teaching. That means what demographic characteristics such as the age, gender, occupation, or such related things. The second objective set is to understand the issues arise in online teaching. Now after setting the objectives, in step 6, the researcher need to assess the objectives again. So those objectives need to be assessed in the light of work involved, in the light of availability of time, availability of other resources. Other resources may include such as the expertise of the researcher, then finance, and so on. In the last step, the researcher need to double check whether the researcher is really interested in the study, the researcher has adequate resources, the researcher has knowledge and expertise to undertake the study. Once the researcher is sure about all these issues, then the selected sub-area can be taken for the study. So these are the steps in the problem identification or problem formulation. Now, after problem formulation or problem identification, the researcher need to define the problem. The researcher need to establish operational definition of the problem. It means the researcher should develop, define or establish a set of rules, indicators in order to establish clearly the meaning of such words or items. The study population also need to be clearly defined. So the problem definition, this particular step I will discuss again in another tutorial. So for today, I am concluding this tutorial here. Thank you.